लाउडली बोलना, आवाज है ना।
सोलर पैनल्स का जो मैंने बोला कि सोलर पैनल्स का
1 रुपए वाला पॉइंट नहीं है ये।
इंफ्रा पे
दैट इज द बेस्ट। 1,11,000 करोड़, 1 लाख, सॉरी 11 लाख, 11,11,000 करोड़। इस पे मजाक में पूछ भी सकते हैं कि हाउ डू यू थिंक दे राइट एट दिस 1,1,1,1,1 फिगर। यू कैन से दैट सर इन माय व्यू इट वुड बी जस्ट कोइंसिडेंस। ठीक है, कोई ऐसे इसमें कोई लॉजिक नहीं है, पहली बात। और
रेलवे कॉरिडोर, तीन रेलवे कॉरिडोर,
ठीक है, दैट इज वन पॉइंट। टॉप के पॉइंट है ना, टॉप वालों में सबसे ऊपर। और टूरिज्म में छोटे पॉइंट है, 25 पैसे 10 पैसे। फिर से वही कोल्ड स्टोरेज चेन बनाएंगे, ये बनाएंगे।
इनोवेशन 1 लाख करोड़ और इनोवेशन,
दैट इज गुड, दैट इज गुड।
ग्रीन एनर्जी 8500 करोड़ ऑन सोलर पैनल्स एंड
छोटा पॉइंट है। 2 करोड़। सबसे बड़े सेलिएंट पॉइंट मैक्रो लेवल लिखो, 4 बजट का कोई पूछेगा, 4 हाईलाइट। सबसे पहले एक 11 लाख 11,000 समथिंग करोड़। Around, you can say around 11 lakh crore has been earmarked for capital expenditure. One of the biggest punch points. Secondly, the fiscal deficit has been aimed at 5.2%, 5.1%. थर्ड, अभी कहीं उसने बोला नहीं है, नीचे लिखा हुआ है एस्टिमेट्स के लिए। नेक्स्ट ईयर का जो है जीडीपी ग्रोथ 10.5% पकड़ा हुआ है। अब कहीं बोलती हो तो सब लोग पीछे पड़ जाते हैं, 10.5 कैसे होएगा, क्या नहीं होएगा, होएगा नहीं होएगा। तो कहीं बोली नहीं बजट में, और यहाँ नीचे दिया हुआ है एस्टिमेट्स में, बजट एट ए ग्लांस में। नेक्स्ट ईयर budgeted estimate for GDP growth is 10.5%. कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर लिख लिया, फिस्कल डेफिसिट लिख दिया 5.1। एक और इम्पोर्टेंट पॉइंट है which should come in the notice, that is interest burden on interest payments 11,90,000 crore. Such a huge interest burden the government is going to have on its shoulder. मैंने एक डिटेल देखी थी रिपोर्ट, उसमें सारे ईयरली दिए हुए थे, कब का लिया हुआ, कब का है। कुछ तो ये जो नेशनल हाईवे बॉन्ड्स हैं 7%, 8%, 9% यील्ड है, वो भी इंटरेस्ट ही है, वो भी आता पड़ा है। कुछ लेटेस्ट हैं, कुछ सिक्योरिटीज हैं, कुछ बॉन्ड्स हैं, गवर्नमेंट बॉन्ड्स, फिर लोन्स हैं, शॉर्ट लॉन्ग टर्म लोन्स, एक्सेट्रा। मैक्रो लेवल पे ये 4-5 पॉइंट। फिर अच्छा पॉइंट है नेक्स्ट, 1 लाख करोड़ has been earmarked for research and development, innovation, promotion. This is a good amount. These are all positives what we are discussing, other than the interest thing. Now coming to the missed opportunities of the budget. सबसे पहला, I was expecting the government to allocate lot of money for oil exploration, crude oil exploration. इसमें आप फिर फिगर बता दोगे, because India's import bill 70% import bill is of crude oil, and if we can find our own crude oil, then our rupee can become very strong. फिगर मत बोलो 33, 35, 40, तो आपसे पूछ लेगा how did you come to 40, 50? So our rupee can strengthen in a big way. Our forex trade balance can become positive. Crude oil exploration पे impetus was not there. Can for last many budgets, I have been expecting the government to allocate a big chunk of money for oil exploration. That is number one. Number two, food grain पे कुछ बात हुई है, oil seed पे हम self sufficiency करेंगे, ये करेंगे, but वो भी बात ही है, कोई concrete action plan नहीं दिखता। तो बजट के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से सेकंड, no roadmap has been shared. No roadmap has been shared to reduce the cost of borrowing for the Indian businessman. अब इसमें आप explain करोगे, at present the cost of borrowing is around 13-14% for business loans, whereas we should, the countries, our competitors in countries like Vietnam, Thailand, Malaysia, if people set up plant there or in China, they get loans at rates of 5%. ध्यान से, they get loans at the rate of 5%, whereas ours are at 13-14%, 3 times the cost of capital. Macro level points. बाकी इतना बोल दिया बहुत है. एग्रीकल्चर में बोल देना, थोड़ा सा मिस्ड अपॉर्चुनिटी में बोलोगे कि फॉर लास्ट 4-5 बजट्स, अगर ये बोल दिया तो आपका काम हो गया एग्रीकल्चरिस्ट का. फॉर लास्ट 4-5 बजट्स द फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर हैज बीन टॉकिंग ऑफ ओल्ड सप्लाई, ऑफ इम्प्रूविंग द सप्लाई चेन फॉर एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर, लाइक सेटिंग अप ऑफ कोल्ड स्टोरेजेस. आप क्यों नहीं लिख रहे? So, like setting up of cold storages in each district, like setting up of cold chains, trains, etc. But the implementation and execution has been very low. In this budget also generic announcement has been made. Missed opportunities में आएगा. कोई specific number दोगे तभी होएगा ना. जैसे उधर आप बोलते हो housing का भी good है. I think 3 crore housing है. Yes. 3 crore housing for all. That is a good number. अरे कोई number तो दिया.
3 crore तक पहुंच चुके हैं नेक्स्ट 5 इयर्स में.
2 crore का और है, 2 crore और. Where there is a number, you can be tracked, you can be measured. So similarly, she should have said that in next year how many cold storages will be commissioned nationally, 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, etc. So because this, अब इसी से आप कहोगे, because this is an area where 65% of population is directly indirectly employed. इसको relate कैसे करोगे business? 65% population is directly indirectly employed here. If their incomes increase, they will be first time buyer of scooter, washing machine, etc. They can lift the economy in a big way, and their income has to improve. So फिर आप कैश क्रॉप और वो जो आपने सारा डिस्कस किया उस पे ले जाओ. आज वो इसीलिए नहीं करता कोल्ड स्टोरेज, उसके बाद सस्ता नहीं है, गवर्नमेंट का नहीं है, प्राइवेट है. गवर्नमेंट के जो है टूटे बंद है. ठीक है, दिस आर द मैक्रो लेवल. ओके नाउ
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rishabh, and today I am going to discuss about the overview of services industries and some major players like Infosys, Wipro, and TCS. So, understanding service industries. Service industries are the sector of economy that provides intangible products. They are essential for sustaining economic growth and development. The service sector is not only the dominant sector of India's GDP, but has also attracted significant foreign investment and contributed significantly to exports and has provided large-scale employment. The intangible products include trading, hotel and restaurants, transport, storage and communication, financing, insurance, real estate, business services, community, social and personal services, etc. Here is the pie chart and the division of the service sectors in various products.
एक सेकंड. अब जैसे बजट पे आपसे पूछेगा व्हाट डू यू थिंक इज सिग्निफिकेंट इन दिस बजट, तो आप बोलोगे 11 लाख समथिंग करोड़ इन कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर. इतने पे नहीं छोड़ना, इससे 2 लेवल नीचे जाना. बिकॉज कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर ऑफ दिस मैग्नीट्यूड breaks down to manufacturing impetus and stimulus to the growth of the economy. Because capital expenditure में सबसे ज़्यादा क्या लगता है? स्टील, सीमेंट, ट्रक्स, बसेज, ट्रक्स स्पेशली, एक्सकावेटर, JCBs, etc. तो वो ट्रिकल डाउन इफेक्ट इसका कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर का बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग है ऑन द होल इकोनॉमी. इस तरह से आपने रखना टेबल पे इस पॉइंट कि 11 lakh crore plus have been allocated for capital expenditure, most of it which is related to infrastructure, which involves a lot of steel. So steel sector, it involves a lot of excavator, moving equipment, automobile, tractors, etc. And then also cement. So steel, cement, auto. जब ये तीनों मेन सेक्टर में आता है, नीचे इनके टर्शरी सेक्टर से हैं, इनके सप्लायर्स, ऑटोमोबाइल्स, etc. they get benefit. ये इसका टिकल डाउन इफेक्ट। कोई कहेगा कि सिर्फ इसी पे एक ही सेक्टर पे क्यों लगा दिया इतना, तो आपको एक सेक्टर पे लगाया बट उसमें नीचे 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 जाएगा। ओके
So here is the pie chart describing about different service sectors in today's time. Understanding service industries. The growth of the service sector in India is a unique example of leapfrogging traditional models of economic growth. Within a short span of 50 years since independence, the contribution of the service sector in India to the country's GDP is around over 60%. However, still only 25% of labor force is there. Consequently, in agriculture, continue to sustain the majority of the employed population. Here is the bar graph for financial year 2016, where 52% of the industry sector was employed, and in 2021, 54% was reached. And in 2023, as we have discussed, it is around now 53.33% as we compare it with China, which has 54.6%. And industry sector is 28.25%, and in China is 38.3% as per 2023. And in agricultural sector, India is 18.42% and China is 7.1%. So there are
ये शेयर ऑफ जीडीपी है,
Yes,
राइट?
so few investments and developments in Indian service sector. I have written only few, 4 to 5 points. The Indian service sector was the largest recipient of FDI inflows, worth US dollar 105,400 million between April 2000 June 2023. The IT and business services market will grow at a CAGR of 8.3% between 2021 to 2026, reaching a US dollar of 20.5 billion valuation by the end of 2026. Since the launch of the Startup India initiative in 2016, DPIIT has recognized 98,119 entities as startups as of the 30th April 2023. The Indian healthcare industry is expected to shift to digitally enabled remote consultations via teleconsultation. The telemedicine market in India is expected to increase 31% from 2020 to 2025. India's tourism and hospitality sector may earn 50.9 billion US dollars as digital exports by 2028. Introduction to BPO in the service sector. Business process outsourcing is the contractual delegation of operations and responsibilities of specific business processes from a company to an external service provider. BPO in the service sector involves contracting the operations and responsibilities of specific business functions to a third-party service provider. It encompasses various back office and front office functions, including customer service, finance, HR, and more. So benefits of BPO: strategic focus allows companies to focus on core business strategies and growth initiatives. Operational flexibility enables scalable operations based on business needs and market demands. Here are the 4 strategies: market penetration and product development. These are 2 new strategies. And market development strategy and diversification were current strategies. The role of BPO in service industry: operational support, cost efficiency, and global reach. In operational support, BPO firm provides crucial operation support to business, handling back office tasks such as data management, customer support, and finance and accounting processes. Cost efficiency: BPOs offer cost-effective solutions, allows companies focus on core activities while delegating non-core functions to specialized service providers. And global reach: BPO firms operate on a global scale, leveraging diverse talent pools, language capabilities, etc. So here are some major players in the service sector. I will be going to discuss about TCS, Wipro, and Infosys. Very brief information. So global presence: TCS operates in over 40 countries, catering to a wide range of industries and providing comprehensive IT services, consulting, and business solutions. Technological innovations: TCS is renowned for its innovative approach, driving digital transformations for clients and pioneering advancements in areas such as automation, AI, and analytics. Key services by TCS: digital transformation. It provides end-to-end digital solutions, including cloud migration, IoTs, digital marketing services, and business private digital game. Business consultancy: focus on strategies, operations, and technology. It provides optimized business processes and drive innovations as well. So Wipro: strategic partnerships. Wipro collaborates with leading technological providers to deliver integrated solutions, leveraging strong alliances and expertise in digital, cloud, and infrastructure services. Client-centric approach of Wipro. Wipro focuses on client stratification through continuous innovation, personalized offerings, and a commitment, driving positive business outcomes for its customers. And key services by Wipro, cloud services and security solutions. Wipro also provides cloud services, cloud solutions, migration management, optimization services, and cloud-based technologies. Security solutions. It offers advanced cybersecurity services focusing on threat prevention, incident response, and compliance management to safeguard business from digital risks. Infosys is a multinational corporation that provides software development, maintenance, and independent validation services to companies globally. Infosys is a global leader in next-generation digital services and consulting. When we enable clients in more than Infosys enable clients in more than 56 countries to navigate their digital transformation. So, if we combine all these three firms, the major players, around 100,000 employees are there who are working, and around 50 billion of revenue is all are coming. TCS contribution is about 30% in the Indian service sector share till date, and Infosys is about 25%, and Wipro's percentage contribution is about 20%. Thank you.
बस और बैक करो और आपको चॉकलेट लेके जाना मेरे से मैं लेके नहीं आया
टॉपिक
लाइट ऑन
बहुत टॉपिक रिपीटेड पे
एक जगह पे आया वाई बीपीओ। अब ये कंपनी का नाम सुना होगा सबने, ये बार्कलेस बैंक। दे हैव नो बैंकिंग ऑपरेशंस इन इंडिया नाउ। 4 years back they had banking operations in India. Now they don't have any banking operation. Barclays is a big bank, UK based. What they have today in India is a workforce around 6,000 people still. What they are doing, back office jobs. 6,000 people employed in India, because here you pay 1 lakh rupee, 30,000, 50,000 to the younger people. Experience 1 lakh. वहाँ पे 5 times more. Then the cost of building, infrastructure, everything goes up. So back office operation outsourced, BPO, business process outsourced. कुछ तो कंपनी बाहर वालों को देते हैं जैसे IBM, Cognizant, etc. कुछ अपने ही अब बैक ऑफिस ऑपरेशंस खोल लिए सबने। मैक्रो लेवल अंडरस्टैंडिंग। इंडिया के पास क्या था? पढ़े लिखे रिसोर्सेज। इसमें कैपिटल इंटेंसिव नहीं था इस सेक्टर में। तो सेक्टर को पूछ सकता है आपसे, why India's growth was so high in service sector only, not in agriculture and manufacturing. Agriculture and manufacturing involves expansions, involve lot of capex money. अब यहाँ cost of capital एंगल ले आओ। Cost of capital is 14-13% in India. That puts burden on the mind of the investor. Number 1. Number 2, capital intensive money. फिर आ गया cost of capital, very high. Whereas in this side, on the other side, in the services, brain and humans were the things which were the key ingredients, rather than capex, machinery, plant, etc. So this is how we could leverage that strength of our educated, sharp, hardworking brains. So many humans passing out engineers, and we could leverage that strength to get this money, big, dollars of service outsourcing से money earning, and also the service sector's share. That is why it is there. But now, in spite of very good growth in service sector, the limited बंदों को और hire करने का scope limited. So agriculture, manufacturing have to come into picture in a big way. A big way आपको सब पता है. तो और किसका है अभी? क्या है बच्चे टॉपिक? पंजाब इकोनॉमी, वेरी गुड, वेरी गुड। और किसका है रेडी? क्या है बच्चे टॉपिक? बजट, वेरी गुड, एक्सीलेंट। मैं पूछ रहा था बजट वाला बंदा कहाँ है? बजट का आप आए नहीं थे, हमने 2 मिनट कर लिया डिस्कस। विल अगेन कवर योर पॉइंट्स। है बेटा? अच्छा, आप लिख रही हैं उसमें USD कैसे है? फिर मेल खुलती है, मेल खोल के करना, अपने आप को मेल कर दो। इधर बंद कर दो।
So, my topic for today is the Punjab economic problem. To begin with, I am going to give a little introduction about the economy. At present, the economy of Punjab is 16th largest in India at 6.98 lakh crore GDP. Ranking 17th amongst the Indian states, Punjab estimates per capita income of 1,73,873 in 22-23 compared to 1,70,620 at an all India level. Ludhiana is Punjab's largest city and contributes the most of state's GDP. In 2023, Ludhiana contributed more than 19% of Punjab's GDP. So Punjab ranked first in GDP per capita amongst Indian states in 1980.
81 आपको याद है मैंने ये चीज़ बोली थी आप लोगों को एक स्टेज पे वी वर नंबर 1 इन द कंट्री और अभी रैंक कितना नीचे गया अभी देखिए
70. So fourth in 2001, but has experienced slower growth than the rest of India, having the second slowest GDP per capita growth rate of all Indian states and union territories between 2000 and 2010, only behind Manipur. So this is a
अभी रैंक क्या है इंडिया का पर कैपिटा
17.
So we have slid from first rank in 1981 to 17th now. Very good punch point. कहीं कोई पूछे what is happening in Punjab? अब एक गोला वाला बच्चा आंसर देगा sir everything in Punjab government is trying to revive it, the economy burden is there. आप ये बोलोगे sir Punjab was first in terms of per capita in 1981. Unfortunately we faced 3 decades of terrorism because of which the industrialists left and the growth. In fact, we faced deceleration and migration of the people also had to take place. Migration of industries took place. Now we are at 17th in terms of per capita nationally. So we have a long way to go now. We have to come back. Now slowly the government is trying to create a environment in which industrialists, corporate, service companies, etc. They start setting up something in Punjab. So Punjab has to follow a revival trajectory. अब ये पंच पॉइंट है फर्स्ट इन 1981 to 17th now.
So moving on, this is a comparative graph of growth rate of India's GDP compared to Punjab. So as you can see, we have always been behind the all India growth rate, and a comparative depiction of the rate of growth of GSDP. GSDP is gross state domestic product of the state with India as a whole over the past year diverges that the growth rate of the state was one of the highest at 10.2 in 2006-7. Since then, the state has not seen a day of double-digit growth rate and has mostly remained lower than all India average. Furthermore, the state witnessed a negative growth in GSDP in 2020-21 on the account of imposition of lockdown due to COVID-19. So, while subsequent governments continue to highlight the fiscal recklessness by their predecessors, little was done to undo or amend the financial trends. The current debt indicators of the state are probably the worst in the country, pushing it deeper into a debt trap. A relative comparison of Punjab vis-a-vis all other states on key fiscal indicators has been tabulated. According to a RBI report done after the Sri Lankan economic crisis, Punjab was at the riskiest position among the Indian states because of its extremely high outstanding debt ratio. So these are some important ratios. You can see total revenue received compared to all India level, own tax revenue, non-tax revenue, total expenditure, economic service, social service, general service, committed expenditure, capital expenditure, revenue deficit, fiscal deficit, and outstanding debt. So the most important here would be the outstanding debt, which is at 40%, and this is 2018-19. Now it is closer to 50%, and the all India average is 25%. And also the capital expenditure as
This is
a
a very important punch point. Our debt to GDP ratio is now
as
40.
a percent is now closer to, I think it's 48 point something,
Oh.
as a percent of GSDP.
As a percent of GDP.
GSDP, GDP of the state.
GDP of the state. Yeah, that is what it is.
So another important one would be capital expenditure, which is 0.7 compared to all India level of 2.5. So now the main problem I would say would be the debt problem. The state is a classical debt trap, i.e. a significant portion of annual gross debt borrowing contracted by the government is being applied towards repayment of old debt and interest payments and not for the future development and prosperity of the state. The outstanding debt of the state increased from 1,000 crores in 1980-81 to 83,000 crores in 2011. The effective outstanding debt of Punjab stands at 2.63 lakh crore, which is 45.8% of GSDP. So taking a debt is not a problem, but we are utilizing it to pay our old debt. So that is the real problem here. Now moving on, government expenditure can be classified into revenue and capital expenditure. The revenue expenditure of the state has increased at an alarming rate of 187% from 32,897 crore in 2010 to 94,437 crore in 21-22, as is evident in the above chart. So, moreover, it is pertinent to note that revenue expenditure as percentage of total expenditure has remained constantly above the 90% mark, and as a percentage of total revenue received has remained at more than 150% mark, leaving very little scope for development and expenditure. So, revenue expenditure is basically the expenditure incurred by the government on things that on like interest, on pensions, on interest payments and subsidies. So, this expense has to be incurred every year, and you can see in the below chart the composition of this revenue expenditure of Punjab. Now the other part of our expenditure is called capital expenditure. So to compare Punjab's capital expenditure, which is at 8% of GDP, more developing states like Gujarat have 15, Maharashtra is 11.7, Karnataka is 18%, and Tamil Nadu is 12.5%. But Punjab only has 8%. Industries are discouraged due to poor air connectivity and poor infrastructure. It is apparent from the table 2.8 above that a very small portion of total expenditure was spent on creation of capital assets. The less than required capital expenditure has resulted in the non-creation of quality infrastructure in the state, which further deprive the state of future revenue.
अब ये फिगर अगर आपने बोल दी इंटरव्यू में कि कर्नाटका को पकड़ो, बैंगलोर, जबरदस्त इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, टोयोटा, many plants, new equipment manufacturers. Similarly, गुजरात और इनका हाफ है पंजाब, and it has been for over years.
And sir, this 8% this is from 21. Before that, it is 4.83, 2.8.
अगर less than, अगर it is the capital expenditure of Punjab government has been one half or less than one half as compared other competent states which are leading in growth.
So the state has to cautiously take debt and invest heavily in high quality capital expenditure creation, capital asset creation and revenue enhancement measures. This will create a cycle of value acceleration and hopefully Punjab will be able to increase its growth rate and sustain it for coming years. Debt consolidation is possible only with rapid growth, high quality capital expenditure and resource mobilization. So another problem that comes in our way is our subsidy problem. As I said in the previous slide, Gujarat is incurring 15% capital expenditure, but they also have a large amount going into subsidies and they have a higher growth rate of subsidies every year. But we are not as developed as the Gujarat economy, so we should not focus on subsidies, but we should first improve our economy. By using subsidies as part of their political campaigns, both the current and previous government have caused damage to Punjab. This use of subsidies can be dated back to more than 25 years ago. The provision of free electricity and water are known to accelerate environmental degradation of water ecosystem. So in this below graph you can see after the water and electricity subsidy was given, the groundwater level has decreased subsequently. So by ensuring that only deserving receive them, and that will free up resources to invest in health, education, agriculture, research and development and rural infrastructure, which will help create more jobs and reduce poverty on a sustainable basis. So now this was our expenditure side of the economy, and now moving on to total revenue receipts, which is basically the income of the state. It can be noticed that total revenue receipts have increased from 16,795 crore in 2006 to 78,137 crore, which is an increase of 365%. However, analysis shows that through central transfers have increased by 847% from 3,806 crore to 36,000 crore, whereas state's own revenue have increased by only 224% from 12,990 to 42,109. So the main two components of total revenue receipts is the state's own revenue and central transfer. So we get a share in the GST, we get a share from their taxes, we get grants, and we get donations from center. And the other is our own revenue, that is tax and non-tax revenue. The alarming well for the inevitable dwindling state's fiscal position can be seen from the fact that the revenue expenditure increased at a comparatively higher rate, that is 409% as against the growth rate of revenue of the. So our expenditure is increasing more than our income, and that is not to say a bad thing. More states have the gap is more in other states as well, but we are not spending as well as they are. The state's own revenue component, which was once 81% of the total revenue in 2008, has seen a downward trend and has shrunk to 53% in the year 21-22. Correspondingly, over the same period, central transfers have increased from 18% to 46%. So from this table you can see we were pretty regular 77-78, but near 2015-16 we see a rapid drop from 70% to now to almost 50%. So another thing that we are getting GST compensation from state after the implementation of GST in 2017, but after the 5 years of that is over, we have that compensation will also be one which will decrease our income more. Since the introduction, the GST revenue of state has gone up from 11,934 to 33,404 crore in 21-22. However, the state's own GST collections have fallen short of the protected revenue guaranteed by Government of India. The high share of compensation in the overall receipt is very worrying indicator, which currently stands at 49% from 33.83% in 17-18. GST compensation comprised 59% of the total GST revenue in 2021. The GST compensation regime is ending in June 22, and based on the trends of previous years, the state government would be staring down a big hole left in its finances to the tune of 40 to 50,000 in 22-23 itself. There were no attempts to incentives to increase the revenue of the state by the previous government. It would not be amiss to say that the lack of planning and efforts to consolidate revenue in preparation for the end of the GST compensation regime has put the state in compromising situation. So this whole thing was recommended by the Finance Ministry of Punjab to the new incoming government of Aam Aadmi Party. There was a report done by them to brief them regarding the economic situation. So this was mentioned there. And moving on to solutions to this problem, to revive Punjab in its glory days, a serious relook into expenditure commitments coupled with direct revenue enhancement measures must be done. Structural and policy initiatives are required with unheard levels of ground level enforcement to consolidate the state finance. Economic revival and growth to reduce reliance on debt. The state has to cautiously take debt and invest heavily in high quality capital expenditure creation and enhancement measures. This will create a cycle of value acceleration, and hopefully Punjab will be able to increase its growth rate and sustain it for the coming years. Debt consolidation is possible only with rapid growth, high quality capital expenditure and resource mobilization. Other steps that could be taken are decreasing power subsidies, diversifying our crops, focusing more on industry and services, and less reliance on agriculture. As agriculture, there is no income tax on agriculture, and there are a lot of variable factors in agriculture. So these are the sources. The third one and fourth one are extremely important. The third one is the Finance Ministry of Punjab's report on previous governments, and the fourth one is the RBI analysis of the weak 5 economic states of India after the Sri Lankan economic crisis.
फर्स्ट प्रेजेंटर कहाँ थे? सॉल्यूशंस फॉर पंजाब, सॉल्यूशन पे कौन है फोकस? थोड़ा सा दिया 4 बुलेट पॉइंट इंडस्ट्री और ये जनरल है. Anyone?
Increase in the income of farmers.
efforts to improve food processing should be number one, because we are an agriculture driven state. So our first impetus of the government should be to improve the food processing sector, number one. Number two, take measures to improve farmers, to double farmers income. नंबर वन हो गया, नंबर टू ये हो गया. नंबर थ्री, ऑफर lucrative schemes to corporates in service, tech, IT sector to invest in other cities than Mohali also.
सर स्टेट गिफ्ट सिटी बना सकती है, जैसे सेंटर है अपना गुजरात.
क्या
स्टेट अपनी गिफ्ट सिटी बना सकती है.
कौन सी city?
गिफ्ट सिटी, जैसे सेंटर है अपना गुजरात.
क्या बोलते हैं, गिफ्ट सिटी?
गिफ्ट GI गुजरात
गिफ्ट कोई भी बना सकता है. आप स्पेशल इकोनॉमिक जोन्स बना सकते हो, आप SEZs बना सकते हो, स्पेशल इकोनॉमिक जोन्स, जिसमें आप एक स्पेशल इंसेंटिव दे दो 4-5 साल के लिए, आपको टैक्स में ये बेनिफिट, स्टेट GST में बेनिफिट, सब्सिडाइज रेट पे लैंड, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी में आई विल गिव यू 2 रुपीज़ पर यूनिट सस्ता. तो गुड़गांव, बैंगलोर और इधर उधर हैदराबाद जाने से पहले पब्लिक विल स्टार्ट थिंकिंग अबाउट यू आल्सो. और उस इन सब के लिए वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट इज लॉ एंड ऑर्डर, वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग लॉ एंड ऑर्डर मशीनरी सेटअप. If you want to attract any type of industry, whether it is services, agriculture, food processing, IT, first thing they will look at is a good, law and order situation. फिर एयर कनेक्टिविटी का बात हुई है. अभी तो चलो लुधियाना से एक एयरपोर्ट बनने की बात चल रहा है काम. अमृतसर है, चलो चंडीगढ़ है, बट सिर्फ मोहाली एरिया को IT पुश किया गया. व्हाई नॉट लुधियाना, व्हाई नॉट सम 3-4 एरिया बठिंडा वन कॉर्नर एंड देन अमृतसर एटसेट्रा वन साइड, ऑल 4 sides, why not they were focused together. So law and order is the issue. कभी रेल रोको, कभी सड़क रोको, कभी हाईवे रोको, तो फिर ये आवाज कहाँ से आ रही है? Law and order issues. So people will think 10 times before coming to Punjab. और मेरे हिसाब से मोटा पंजाब में GST enforcement is just 40-50%. Whatever GST more you will collect, you will get 9% of it, state share 50% of it. Whatever will go to the center, 40-42% of that will come back to you as a state share of the taxes collected by center. I think out of income tax also collected in the state, large chunk comes back to the state. आपको GST की इन्फोर्समेंट करनी होगी जबरदस्त तरीके से, इमीडिएट फर्स्ट स्टेप. यहाँ आपको हमने बात की कितने ट्यूशन सेंटर है वो डोंट पे GST, 0. लॉ करोड़ ऑफ रेवेन्यू, many IELTS centers, coaching centers, doctors, advocates, they are supposed to pay service tax. How much is paid? Very less. Professional tax था पहले, अब एक प्रोफेशनल टैक्स है, एक पहले सर्विस टैक्स होता था. Now that has come under GST, which we pay as service provided to you people. तो वो सब कवर होता है. Iron, steel, whatever is produced, hosiery, huge equipment, ट्रैक्टर के पार्ट्स यहाँ से जगरांव पुल के नीचे से पूरे इंडिया में सप्लाई होते हैं. तो कितना GST मतलब चेकिंग हो रही है, बन रहा है GST बिल या नहीं बन रहा, अंडर इनवॉइसिंग तो नहीं हो रही, एटसेट्रा एटसेट्रा. वो इन्फोर्स करो. पहले ही आपका 1 लाख, 1.5 लाख, 2 लाख एक्स्ट्रा करोड़ निकालो. स्टेट शुड गेट. आप बोलते रहते हैं हम गरीब हैं एज ए गवर्नमेंट. पब्लिक अमीर है, तो थोड़ा पब्लिक को किसी भी तरह से कॉन्फिडेंस दो, इश्तिहारबाजी छोड़ो. आज पब्लिक फिर यही सोचेगी हम क्यों टैक्स दें इस बंदे को, ये सब जगह अपने होर्डिंग लगा रहा है, केजरीवाल के लगा रहा है, पूरे इंडिया में एड्स दे रहा है, प्लेन लेके केजरीवाल को लेके घूम रहा है दरबान बन के। तो पीपल विल थिंक 10 times व्हाई आई शुड पे मनी इन सच पर्सनस हैंड रादर देन इन्वेस्टिंग ऑन स्टेट्स डेवलपमेंट, ही इज पुटिंग इट ऑन आम आदमी पार्टी डेवलपमेंट नेशनली। तो हमारा पैसा है वो। सो वी नीड टू, मतलब ही नीड्स टू इमीडिएटली कर, मेरे ख्याल से हज़ारों करोड़ में हो गया होगा खर्चा अब तक एडवर्टाइजमेंट एंड मार्केटिंग, वो कहीं से आरटीआई से निकलेगा तो निकलेगा। A state which is under debt burden cannot afford such expense। और उससे क्या है, मैसेज जाता है टैक्स पेयर को कि अगर आप और दोगे मैं ऐसे उड़ाऊंगा आपके पैसे। तो पब्लिक विल थिंक 10 times कि हम देंगे, फिर वो जैसे फ्री इलेक्ट्रिसिटी दे रहे हैं, कल को 1000 रुपया गर्ल्स को देना शुरू कर देंगे, फिर कल को कुछ और कर देंगे, नॉट बिलो पॉवर्टी लाइन। सब्सिडी वाले का यही है जो हमने बार बार बात की हुई है, इट इज़ ओके बट इट शुड बी गिवन टू बिलो पॉवर्टी लाइन पीपल। At least 20% of the chunk of the people who are getting today free, who can pay, should pay। ठीक है, आ जाओ दोस्त। नीचे से फिर ऑन करो दबा के एक बार, नीचे नीचे नीचे। हाँ, मेरे को लगता है कुछ फेज आए होंगे इसीलिए वो उनको कर रहा है, प्रॉब्लम में है। अभी चलेगा। अभी बेटा आपका हाथ पहुंचेगा वहाँ पे या पेन से, वो जो लाइट जल रही है ना जहाँ पे, उस पे एक बटन दबाना है हल्का सा। हाँ जी, हल्का सा, बस हो जाएगा। किसी के पास सी टाइप चार्जर तो नहीं है? मैं लेके आता हूँ अपना चार्जर।